Rap and media mogul Jay-Z now accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Sean Diddy Combs. Now, this lawsuit was originally filed back in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as the defendant. But it was just refiled today to include Jay-Z now, whose real name is Sean Carter. Of course, he's the husband of Beyonce. The anonymous accuser alleging the assault occurred after she was driven to an after party following the MTV Video Music Awards. The suit says she was offered a drink that made her feel, quote, woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down.
These are the same people who were begging Kamala and now talk of morality. I mean, think about it. A 13-year-old girl going to an MTV after party? It shouldn't be in the same sentence. Come on. Her parents should be charged for endangering a child, as well as the rapist, being charged as well.
Shortly after, the suit claims Jay-Z and Diddy entered the room where she was resting, eventually sexually assaulting her. And now, just in the last hour, we are hearing from Jay-Z and his team of lawyers. They're denying the claim and say that they are the victims of blackmail, saying, quote, I will not give you one red penny, and my only heartbreak is for my family. Joining us now to break this all down as it's happening, News Nation Law and Justice contributor, former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindoffer. Jennifer, thanks for staying with us on this.
This is an example of why idolatry is not something we should participate in. These celebrities that fans cry for and faint for are also human beings, and no human being should be idolized. No. Remember, Kate Williams was right all along. I knew it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And so we just received a response from the victim's lawyer, really just in the last few minutes. Take a look. This is on social media. A lawyer, Tony Busby, saying Jay-Z has, quote, tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff, but his conduct has had the opposite impact. He goes on to say that the allegations speak for themselves, and he will let the facts come out in court, not in the media. What do you make of this real-time back and forth that we're seeing between these two parties tonight?
Well, it is interesting, and I think it's because Jay-Z came out so strongly and said, listen, I'm going to go after you. And then he filed a suit quickly on the heels of the other suit against Busby and the accuser. So because of that, you're seeing this taunting sort of back and forth in the media.
Jay-Z and Beyonce were talking about leaving the country if Trump wins. Well, I'm pretty sure they're definitely leaving the country now. I mean, this is what happens when you give people with no character, all access to wealth, access to power. Look at the result. Look what happens, I honestly didn't think, they would ever expose Diddy, those people, you see. But when they did catch up with him, I knew that Jay-Z was soon to follow. I knew it, I mean, remember, Kate Williams predicted this. He warned us, folks. Yes, he did.
Do you believe that we may see Jay-Z face a judge? And if so, when would we see him in court? Any indication there yet?
Well, we're definitely going to see him, I believe, on this suit. There are so many details. They describe a house, a driveway, another woman being there. They discuss about a driver taking her. So she's locked into this story now, and that means there could be additional witnesses to corroborate her story or refute the story.
Yeah, I know you've mentioned the specificity of the details really stand out to you in this filing. Do you find it strange that the filing originally did not include Jay-Z, just Diddy, and now Jay-Z is suddenly added today? I mean, does that make Jay-Z's addition in any way less credible, or is this not in fact so unusual?
Wherever these videos are, they need to be leaked, to the people, because these celebrities, because there are certain people who will not believe these things until they see maybe evidence. But it's crazy, really. It's crazy, I mean, this is what happens when you make a deal with the devil. Now he's coming to collect. I mean, this year, God's side won, folks, in landslide victory. Now the other side is paying. Uh huh. Yes, they are.
It's not unusual when they're still digging up information and facts to prove the allegations that they're trying to make. In addition, remember, this 13-year-old says there's a female there. That has not been disclosed either. That will be very interesting because she could be culpable in this as well.
Yeah, that is interesting. Do you expect we are going to be seeing other celebrity names added and refiled in other lawsuits involving Diddy?
I do. I think this really has a web that wraps around many different people, and I think we're going to see a lot more people named.
You know, black people should stop with the tearing down the black man narrative. Tearing down the black man narrative. Black men need to be held accountable, especially in the hip hop community. Gangster, thug, pimp rappers have destroyed culture literally for the past maybe, who knows, 50 years, I don't know. Back then, all this gangster stuff, all this, pimp rap stuff, it does nothing good for the community, especially for our youngsters, those who are growing up. You know, people in the industry have said Jay-Z is evil for years. He surrounds himself with predators. This case will definitely encourage more of his victims to come forward.
Tell me more about the details of any potential blackmail. We do see Jay-Z and his team really coming out swinging, making that allegation. Wouldn't that be a fairly easy allegation to prove? I mean, if in fact Busby reached out trying to blackmail him, wouldn't they have the receipts for that?
Well, what happened was Busby reached out and offered a mediation session, said that his client was amenable to that. I think that is what Jay-Z is sort of extrapolating as being some sort of, extortion or bribery situation. And really, that shouldn't be seen in that light.
Jennifer Coffendoffer, I know we'll be tracking this. Appreciate your time tonight, as always. Thank you.
He came for the civil lawsuit. He came for the civil lawsuit personally. I mean, it's screaming desperation and panic. It's odd, especially because Beyonce and Jay-Z have branded themselves as people who do not respond to rumors. But first, they gagged and forced Piers Morgan to apologize. Now, almost having a meltdown in this response. It's cringe and suspicious.
A high-profile lawsuit accuses rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit, originally filed in October, was refiled today to include Jay-Z as a defendant. The anonymous accuser claims the assault occurred at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party. Jay-Z has denied the allegations in a statement on Roc Nation's Instagram, calling the accusations heinous and urging a criminal complaint be filed instead of a civil one. He also criticized the attorney behind the lawsuit, Tony Busby, accusing him of exploiting the case for personal gain.
I mean, I pray for all the victims that they get their justice. They all laughed at R. Kelly. They thought they were untouchable. This is what happens when you sell your soul, folks. This is what happens when you're driven with the need to get money, greed, power. I mean, only destruction comes from it. Before I was afflicted, I went astray. Remember the word of God. Nothing in the entertainment industry surprises me anymore. They've all been on a power trip for many, many, many years, while others knew about all these things all along, but chose to turn a blind eye. I personally want all these perpetrators to really face justice and face the music. All these crips are finally going to jail. So many of them in Hollywood. Yeah. Been like this for many years and none of them would get punished. I mean, Hollywood celebrities, and all of you who want fame, you are done. The public is just literally done with you. Y'all know what's going on in these after parties. Jay-Z is not the only one in that Diddy's mess. No, no, it isn't. He isn't, rather. I mean, there's a long list of names and people. And guess what? You ain't gonna hide forever. Because God sees everything and you can't hide from His judgment.